The mining vessel Star Seeker drifted silently through the asteroid belt, its sensors probing the rocky debris for valuable minerals. 12-year-old Maya Chen floated in the observation dome, her dark eyes reflecting the distant pinpoints of light that were Jupiter and Saturn. She should have been helping her parents analyze the latest mineral samples, but something about the endless field of asteroids had caught her attention today, something different. "Hey, are you picking up anything unusual in Sector 7? Maya asked the ship's AA companion. She adjusted her position in the zero gravity, her long black hair floating like a dark halo around her head. "Negative, Maya. All readings are within normal parameters for this region," ARIA responded, her holographic interface shimmering beside Maya. "Though I note your vital signs indicate elevated curiosity. What do you observe?" Maya pressed her hand against the transparent dome. "Look at how the asteroids are moving. They're avoiding something. Like water flowing around a rock we can't see." Aria's processors hummed as she analyzed the asteroid field. Interesting observation, initiating detailed scan of Sector 7. The Star Seeker was a small family operation, one of hundreds of independent mining vessels that worked the asteroid belt. Maya's parents, Dr. Sarah Chen and Captain James Chen, had chosen this life to give their daughter a unique upbringing among the stars. They hadn't expected her to develop such an intuitive understanding of space navigation. "Maya," her mother's voice came through the intercom. "We need you in the lab. These mineral samples won't analyze themselves." "Mom, I think I found something important," Maya replied, her eyes still fixed on the strange pattern in the asteroid field. "Can you come to the observation dome?" There was a pause, then the sound of magnetic boots clicking along the corridor. Dr. Chen entered the dome, her research tablet tucked under one arm. "What's so important that it's keeping you from your duties, young lady?" Maya pointed to the asteroid field. "Watch that section for a minute. The rocks are moving wrong." Her mother frowned, but obliged. After a moment, her expression changed from mild annoyance to professional interest. "Run a gravitational analysis of this sector. Something's affecting the asteroid trajectories." "Analysis in progress," ARIA responded, detecting subtle gravitational anomalies. "There appears to be a mass approximately 300 meters in length that our standard sensors cannot detect." "Cloaking technology," Dr. Chen muttered, already typing notes into her tablet. "Maya, go get your father. He needs to see this." But Maya had already pushed off from the dome, propelling herself toward the bridge where her father would be monitoring the ship's mining operations. As she moved through the familiar corridors, her mind raced with possibilities. She'd read about cloaked ships in science fiction stories, but this was real. Captain Chen was at the helm when Maya burst onto the bridge. "Dad, we found something huge. Some kind of invisible ship." "Whoa, slow down," he said, turning in his chair. "What do you mean, invisible ship?" Before Maya could explain, ARIA's voice filled the bridge. "Captain, I've completed my analysis. The gravitational anomaly matches no known asteroid pattern. Dr. Chen requests your presence in the observation dome immediately." The next hour was a blur of activity. The Star Seeker carefully maneuvered closer to the invisible mass, while her parents debated their next move. They'd shut down all mining operations and powered up the ship's minimal defensive systems. Not that they would do much good against something so advanced. "We should contact Earth authorities," Captain Chen argued, studying the sensor readings. "And risk losing the discovery of the century to some government agency," Dr. Chen countered. We need to document everything first. Guys, Maya interrupted, pointing out the dome. I don't think we need to debate anymore. The space before them had begun to shimmer, like heat waves rising from hot pavement back on Earth. The asteroids that had been flowing around the invisible obstacle suddenly scattered as something massive began to appear. It started as a ghostly outline, then solidified into reality. The vessel was unlike anything Maya had ever seen. Its hull was covered in shifting patterns that reminded her of flowing water with no visible seams or joints. It was roughly cylindrical, but with organic-looking curves and protrusions that defied standard spacecraft design. ARIA, are you recording this? Maya whispered, not taking her eyes off the alien ship. Affirmative. All sensors are active and recording. The alien vessel's surface rippled, and a soft blue light began to pulse along its length. Maya felt something. A presence, a consciousness, brush against her mind. Young one, a voice echoed in her thoughts. We have waited so long for someone like you. Maya gasped, grabbing her mother's arm. Did you hear that? But from her parents' expressions, she knew they hadn't. The voice had spoken to her alone. The alien ship's surface rippled again, and a beam of light shot out, scanning their vessel from bow to stern. Aria's holographic form flickered. Unknown energy signature detected, the AI announced. The vessel appears to be initiating contact. Maya felt the presence in her mind grow stronger. Images began to flash through her thoughts. Stars she'd never seen, worlds with impossible colors, and something dark moving between the galaxies. Something ancient, something awakening. Mom, Dad, she said, her voice shaking slightly. I think it wants to show us something important. The Star Seeker hung motionless in space as the alien ship's light enveloped them, and Maya Chen realized that her life, and possibly the fate of humanity, was about to change forever. The next few hours aboard the Star Seeker passed in a blur of frantic activity. Maya sat in the ship's medical bay, various scanners humming as they monitored her brain activity. Her mother hovered nearby, dividing her attention between the medical readings and the streams of data flowing in from the alien vessel. Are you absolutely sure you're feeling okay? Dr. Chen asked for what seemed like the 100th time, studying the neural pattern displays. Mom, I'm fine. Maya insisted, though fine wasn't quite the right word. The presence in her mind had settled into a sort of background hum, like distant music just below the threshold of hearing. It's not hurting me. It's just waiting. Captain Chen entered the medical bay, his face tight with concern. I just finished her preliminary analysis of the alien ship's outer hull. The technology is so advanced it might as well be magic. And we're picking up energy readings that shouldn't be possible. The ship is dying, Maya said suddenly, the words coming from somewhere deep in her consciousness. Both her parents turned to stare at her. Not the whole ship, but its systems are failing. It's been waiting too long. Waiting for what? Her father asked. Before Maya could answer, ARIA's holographic form materialized in the medical bay. Captain, I'm detecting multiple signatures entering the sector. 4 vessels, bearing Earth government markings. They appear to be responding to our automated mining beacon. Already, Dr. Chen's face fell. We haven't had nearly enough time to study the ship. They must have been monitoring this sector, Captain Chen said grimly. Probably picked up the energy surge when the ship decklocked. Maya felt a surge of urgency from the alien presence. We can't let them take control of the ship. Not yet. There's something we need to know first. Her father ran a hand through his graying hair. Maya, honey, these are government authorities. We can't just. Dad, please. Maya interrupted, sliding off the medical bed. Trust me. The ship chose to reveal itself to us for a reason. Give me 10 minutes. Her parents exchanged a look, that silent communication they'd developed over years of working together in space. Finally, our mother nodded. 10 minutes, Captain Chen agreed. ARIA, begin preparing our first contact protocols and documentation. Let's at least look professional when they arrive. Maya rushed to the observation dome, her heart pounding. The alien ship hung before them, its surface still rippling with patterns of light. As she pressed her hand against the transparent dome, the presence in her mind surged forward. Images flooded her consciousness, but clearer this time, more focused. She saw vast ships, similar to the one before them, traveling between the stars. She saw their creators, beings of light and energy, searching for something, hunting something. Then darkness, a void that consumed light itself. A hunger that devoured entire galaxies. The ancient enemy that had forced the ship's creators to scatter their vessels across the universe, leaving them as warning beacons for any civilizations that might follow. They were running, Maya whispered, and ARIA quietly recorded her words. Running and hiding, but also preparing. Each ship was left with a purpose. The next image struck her like a physical blow, a map of their galaxy, with dozens of points of darkness spreading like cancer. The enemy wasn't gone. It was sleeping, waiting, scattered across the stars in dormant pockets. And one of those pockets was dangerously close to Earth's solar system. Maya. Her mother's voice seemed to come from very far away. The government vessels are almost here. What did you see? Maya turned to her parents, who had entered the dome behind her. Mom, Dad, this isn't just a first contact situation. This ship is a warning buoy, left by an ancient race. They fought something terrible, something that's still out there, and it's starting to wake up. As if in response to her words, the alien ship pulsed with brilliant light. A beam shot out, connecting with the Star Seeker's computer systems. Aria's holographic form flickered and transformed, expanding into a three-dimensional star map that filled the dome. Data transfer in progress, Aria announced, her voice taking on harmonic overtones. Warning protocols activated. Translating. Symbols began to appear in the star map, ancient text transforming into readable script before their eyes. Maya felt the alien presence guiding her understanding, helping her interpret what they were seeing. The ship's creators called themselves the Luminary, she said, the knowledge flowing through her. They seeded these warning beacons across space, hoping to help other races survive what they couldn't. Each ship contains part of their knowledge, their technology. She paused, a new realization dawning. And weapons, ways to fight back. Captain Chen checked his tablet. The government ships are hailing us. We need to respond. Tell them everything, Maya said firmly. Show them what the ship revealed. They need to understand, Earth needs to understand, that we're not alone out here, and we're not safe. The alien presence hummed in approval, and Maya felt a subtle shift in the ship's energy. It had chosen her for a reason. Her young, adaptable mind could handle the interface in ways an adult's couldn't. Now she had to convince humanity's leaders to heed a warning left by beings who had seen their own civilization fall to darkness. As the government vessels approached, their running lights bright against the backdrop of space, Maya squared her shoulders. The real challenge was just beginning. The Star Seeker had found more than a mysterious alien ship. They discovered humanity's first warning of a coming storm, and perhaps its only hope of survival. The meeting room aboard the government vessel Horizon felt impossibly sterile compared to the lived-in comfort of the Star Seeker. Maya sat between her parents, trying not to fidget as Admiral Chen, no relation, though the coincidence had raised eyebrows, reviewed the preliminary reports on a sleek holographic display. "Let me be sure I understand this," the Admiral said, her sharp eyes focusing on Maya. "The alien vessel communicated directly with your mind, showing you visions of an ancient threat to the galaxy." "Yes, ma'am," Maya replied, keeping her voice steady. "The Luminari left these ships as warnings. They knew other civilizations would eventually reach the stars, and they wanted to give us a chance they didn't have." Dr. Reeves, the government's xenoarchaeologist, leaned forward. "And you say the ship's systems responded specifically to you, not to any of the adults?" "The Luminari designed their technology to interface with younger minds," Maya explained, the knowledge flowing from that quiet presence that still hummed in her thoughts. "They found that children could adapt more easily to their neural networks. Adult brains are too set in their patterns." Admiral Chen exchanged glances with her science team. "Convenient and potentially concerning." "With all due respect, Admiral," Captain Chen interrupted, "we've provided full sensor logs and biological readings. The ship's interaction with Maya is real, and so is the threat it's warning us about." The Admiral raised a hand. "I'm not dismissing anything, Captain, but you must understand our position. In the span of a few hours, we've not only discovered proof of alien life, but also learned of a potential threat to Earth. We need to proceed carefully." A subtle vibration ran through the ship, and Maya felt a spike of alarm from the alien presence. "Something's wrong," she said, standing up. "The ship, it's trying to tell me something's coming." "Ma'am," a voice came over the intercom, "we're detecting multiple objects dropping out of FTL at the edge of the system. Configuration unknown." Admiral Chen was already moving. "Show me." The meeting room's display switched to a tactical view. Dozens of objects were appearing at the system's edge, dark shapes that seemed to absorb the light around them. Maya felt cold dread flowing through her connection to the Luminari ship. "They followed the activation signal," she whispered. "When the ship woke up to talk to me, they detected it. The things the Luminari were running from, they're here." Alarms began blaring throughout the horizon. The dark objects were accelerating into the system at impossible speeds, their trajectory aimed directly at their position. "Battle stations," Admiral Chen ordered. "Get us between those objects and Earth, and someone tell me what we're dealing with." Maya grabbed her mother's tablet and began drawing frantically, trying to capture the images flowing through her mind. "They're called the Void Hunters," she said, her hand moving almost on its own. "The Luminari didn't create them. They found them, hibernating in deep space. When they tried to study them," she shuddered. "The Hunters woke up. They consume everything, matter, energy, even consciousness itself. The Luminari fought them for centuries before realizing they couldn't win. That's why they left the warning ships." The tactical display updated. The dark objects were spreading out, forming an attack pattern that Maya somehow recognized. "They're not just weapons or creatures," she continued. "They're like viruses. They infect technology, turn it against its creators. That's why the Luminari ship chose such a young race to contact. Our technology isn't advanced enough to be useful to them." Yet, Dr. Reeves added grimly, Admiral Chen studied the approaching threat. Options. "The ship," Maya said firmly. "The Luminari vessel isn't just a warning, it's a weapon cache. They left their most effective tools for fighting the Hunters with each warning beacon. But She hesitated. But what? Her father asked. Using them has a price. The weapons draw power from their users. The Luminari were beings of pure energy, so they could handle it. Humans. She looked at her hands. I don't know what it would do to us. The first impacts rocked the horizon. The Void Hunters were firing some kind of energy weapon that left trails of darkness in space. They're trying to disable our ships, Maya explained. Once our technology is down, they'll begin feeding. Admiral Chen's expression hardened. Not on my watch. Dr. Chen, Captain Chen, get Maya back to the Luminary vessel. If there are weapons that can fight these things, we need them now. The rest of our ships will buy you time. Maya's parents started to protest, but another impact rocked the ship. Through the meeting room's viewport, they could see the alien ship's surface rippling with increasing urgency. It wants to help, Maya said, but it needs me to show you how. Admiral Chen nodded sharply. Go. Humanity's survival may depend on what we do in the next few hours. As they rushed back to the Star Seeker, Maya felt the weight of history pressing down on her young shoulders. The Luminary had faced this same moment, the realization that an ancient evil had awakened, hungry for all they had built. They had failed to stop it. But they had made sure the next civilization would have a fighting chance. The Void Hunters drew closer, their dark forms blotting out the stars. Maya squared her shoulders. She was 12 years old, and the fate of humanity now rested partly in her hands. It was time to wake up the Luminary's weapons. The interior of the Luminary ship pulsed with urgency as Maya followed the glowing pathways deeper into its core. Her parents and 2 government scientists hurried behind her, their footsteps echoing on the crystalline floor. The ship's architecture seemed to shift around them, responding to Maya's presence. The weapons chamber is ahead. Maya said, the knowledge flowing directly from the ship's consciousness to her mind. But you're not going to like what you see. They entered a vast circular room. In its center stood what looked like a pilot's chair, but it was sized for someone much smaller than an adult. Crystalline tendrils extended from its surface like frozen lightning. No, Captain Chen said immediately, recognizing the implications. Absolutely not. There has to be another way. The ship shuddered as another wave of Void Hunter attacks struck the defensive line of Earth ships. Through her connection to the vessel, Maya could feel the darkness spreading, consuming energy and matter alike. The interface needs a young mind, she explained, approaching the chair. One that can adapt to the neural load. That's why they chose me. That's why they've been waiting for someone like me. Dr. Chen grabbed her daughter's arm. Maya, we don't know what this will do to you. The risks are less than what happens if we do nothing, Maya finished. She looked at her mother with eyes that seemed older than her 12 years. I can feel them out there, Mom. The Void Hunters aren't just attacking our ships. They're attacking space itself, if they reach Earth. Another impact rocked the ship. Admiral Chen's voice crackled over their comm units. Whatever you're planning to do, do it fast. Our weapons are having no effect, and we're losing ships. Maya gently pulled away from her mother and approached the chair. The crystalline tendrils began to glow, reaching toward her like welcoming arms. The Luminary built these weapons to channel pure energy, she explained. They left just enough of their essence in each ship to power one final battle. But they needed a conduit, someone who could bridge the gap between their technology and the younger races they hoped to save. She sat in the chair. The effect was immediate. The tendrils wrapped around her arms and legs, and Maya's consciousness expanded exponentially. She could see everything, the Void Hunters' attack patterns, the desperate maneuvers of Earth's ships, the approaching darkness that threatened to consume their entire system. But she could also see the light, the pure energy the luminary had left behind, waiting to be unleashed. Maya. Her father's voice seemed to come from very far away. Are you okay? I understand now, she whispered, her voice carrying harmonics that hadn't been there before. I understand everything. The ship's surface began to ripple with intense light, patterns flowing like liquid starfire. The Void Hunters sensed the change, their attack faltering for the first time. Maya raised her hands, and the universe seemed to hold its breath. Let there be light, she said. And there was. The light that erupted from the luminary ship defied description. It flowed like water, but cut like a sword, each beam seeking out the Void Hunters with unerring precision. Where darkness had consumed, light restored. Maya sat at the center of it all, her small form almost lost among the crystalline tendrils that now blazed with power. Through her, the last essence of the luminary race fought once more against their ancient enemy. The Void Hunters recoiled, their dark forms wavering as the light struck them. But they weren't retreating. They were gathering for a final assault. They're adapting. Maya called out, her voice echoing with power. The luminary weren't the first race to fight them, and each battle taught them something new. We need more power. Admiral Chen's voice crackled through the comm. All ships, fall back to defensive position around the luminary vessel. Divert all power to their weapons system. Maya felt each human ship connecting to the network she created, offering their energy to supplement the luminary's ancient power. It wasn't compatible. Human technology was too primitive to interface directly. But then Maya understood her true purpose. She wasn't just a conduit for the luminary's weapons. She was a translator, a bridge between two very different kinds of technology, between past and present, between what humanity was and what it could become. Everyone, hold on, she warned. Maya reached out with her enhanced consciousness, touching the minds of every human in the fleet. She showed them what she could see, the patterns of energy that made up reality itself, the dangerous beauty of the Void Hunters, the desperate legacy the luminary had left behind. And in that moment of connection, humanity understood. Their collective will focus through Maya, merging with the ancient weapons in a way the luminary had never imagined possible. They had designed their weapons for a single pilot, but humanity's greatest strength had always been its ability to work together. The Void Hunters never stood a chance. The combined energy of human determination and luminary technology erupted from the ship in a wave that transformed the very fabric of local space. Where it touched the Void Hunters, they simply ceased to be, their darkness transformed into light. When it was over, Maya slumped in the control chair, exhausted but smiling. The crystalline tendrils retracted gently, and her parents rushed to help her up. "Did we win?" she asked weakly. Her father laughed, tears in his eyes. "Yes, sweetheart, we won." But Maya knew this was just the beginning. The ship's consciousness shared one final vision with her. More Void Hunters, scattered throughout the galaxy, slowly awakening from their ancient slumber. 2 days later, Maya stood before the United Earth Council, her parents beside her as she explained what needed to be done. "The Void Hunters will return," she told them. The luminary ship wasn't just a weapon, it was a guide. The ship can teach us how to advance our technology, prepare our defenses, and find other warning beacons. But more importantly, it showed us something the luminary never understood. She paused, looking out at the assembled leaders of humanity. The luminary fought alone, and they fell. But humans, we fight together, and that makes all the difference. The council voted unanimously to establish Project Luminary, with Maya as its youngest ever chief consultant. The ancient ship would become humanity's first step into a larger universe, not just a weapon against the darkness, but a light showing the way forward. As Maya left the council chambers with her parents, she felt the ship's consciousness brush against her mind one last time. But now it wasn't alone. She could sense other beacons awakening across the stars, responding to humanity's first victory against the Void Hunters. The real adventure was just beginning. "Ready for what comes next?" her mother asked, squeezing her hand. Maya smiled, looking up at the stars that now held both promise and challenge. "Together," she said. "We're ready together."